You can see on the last play from Caitlin, and then on top of that, what you think of your team play game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking.
If you thought coaches only received technicals, think again. After weeks of Caitlin Clark receiving brutal fouls and receiving no calls, the Fever coach finally said enough is enough. Stephanie White didn't hold back when she took the court, lighting up the referees as if they had forgotten how to read the rule book. Now, the WNBA's usual punching bag might actually see some fair calls. Hold on tight, for this may mark the beginning of a new era in which accountability is paramount. The referees were simply made to undergo a thorough examination and change by the Fever.
This don't make no sense, man. This don't make no sense. I think Stephanie White has had enough of all the bullshit going on in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark being hurt, yeah, she might be hurt, but I don't believe it's to the magnitude of what people saying. I think this is a message they sending out that we've done taking all this roughhousing and no fouls and all this BS and they ain't getting no foul.
The WNBA referees aren't officiating basketball. Instead, they're officiating a gladiator arena, blowing their whistles when Clark exhales too loudly. The Indiana Fever could throw out their playbook and replace it with a pair of boxing gloves, and no one would notice what's happening on that court. Stephanie White finally confirmed what every Caitlin Clark fan, casual viewer, and even a semi-conscious squirrel has suspected. There is bare-knuckled fighting and open assault, and the officials are ignoring it. Under the pretense of regulation, the game has evolved from being about basketball to becoming a chaotic battle.
So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning, like Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them. You guys, I have watched so much basketball in my lifetime, so much NBA, so much professional basketball. It's comical at times when you see the players after the games talking to the refs, because a lot of them end up knowing each other at a certain point because they've reffed their game so many times. The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss something with the players, because a lot of times players will go up and be like, why did you call that? What did you see? What was going on? And there's a back and forth that's happening. This guy's literally running away from them.
Let's face it, these are daylight muggings with 15,000 witnesses, a camera crew, and ESPN broadcasting live in one Fever possession. There is more interaction than at the last 10 family reunions, and the referees are watching as if they are high on ambient, letting everything go unnoticed with no qualms. There is no pretense of impartiality or fairness, just unrepentant bias on full display. Everyone can see the obvious, unfiltered bias in the game, which has been replaced by pandemonium and frequent foul decisions that seem to be more about managing the spectacle than officiating basketball.
But if anything, this should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating, because the amount of contact that is allowed without a foul call and the amount of physicality that Caitlin Clark has to battle through being double teamed and triple teamed, and honestly, it's mostly just not being called for these fouls, needs to be assessed. Caitlin Clark is the league's star player, whether you like it or not. It shows in the bottom line. It shows in the revenue. It shows in the viewership numbers. Every which way you turn, it shows.
The WNBA responds with a shrug, a vague feminist tweet, and the continuation of chaos on the court while officials appear to be watching a different game entirely, because it is definitely not basketball. The league claims it wants growth, higher ratings, and respect, but it permits Caitlin Clark, perhaps the most marketable rookie since LeBron James, to be physically assaulted by players who treat defense like a WWE assistant. The referee looks blankly, like a deer caught in LED headlights, as Clark lines up to go to the basket. This is not just poor officiating, it is downright negligence. Why do Carrington's claws resemble Freddy Krueger's allowed near players if blades are prohibited on the court? No one seems to mind when certain players go around with talons sharp enough to etch initials into hardwood. It's like we're watching courtside edition of the Hunger Games. The WNBA is too busy tweeting inspirational quotes and sharing Instagram reels about sisterhood to notice that their star is being body searched as if she owed money. Even though Carrington's foul wasn't simply difficult, it was a felony that was accepted by the public. No penalties, absence of responsibility, and ejections. The league's complacency is criminal. Fans deserve better, players deserve protection, and the game itself deserves integrity, not a show of violence and neglect. All that is happening is silence from league officials and evasive statements about allowing players to play, but in reality, they're permitting pummeling. This isn't basketball, it's chaos masquerading as sport.
All right, now this is what I'm going to say about this situation, is the Fever players, you got to know, this is how they're going to ref your games. They're going to let Caitlin Clark be held, be hand-checked, have her arm chopped, and they're barely going to call fouls. Because of players are going to get away with what they get away with. If you allow a player to foul a player all game long, guess what? They're going to foul them all game long.
While referees appear more interested in evading responsibility, Stephanie White is out there criticizing the league and its officials as though she's had enough of watching over pandemonium. She's trying to coach basketball, not traverse a minefield of unbridled violence. She manages trauma in real time in addition to coaching a squad. There is no structure in the league, and without it, corruption lingers like rust in a forgotten lunch. Every poor call, or worse, no call, leaves fans wondering, is this ineptitude? Or is someone making sure the attractive white girl doesn't shine too brightly too soon? Going tweet if she had played for the Las Vegas Aces, earning that much money and attention? It's not simply brutal play. It's deliberate and motivated by inconsistency. The officials' display of indifference implies that they would prefer to be somewhere else. If the league doesn't protect its stars, the product suffers and the league's reputation suffers every time they look the other way. This isn't a learning curve. It's an execution, and such flagrant neglect makes fans wonder if they should invest emotionally, financially, or even with their eyes. Fans deserve better players.
Now that right there is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, that's her, out there on the basketball court, chilling, out there shooting jumpers. Y'all see that? Her jumper look wet too. Now you supposed to be hurt and chilling with your leg up, feet up. You out here shooting jumpers. So what that lead me to believe is that her injury can't be too like, is it that bad? They say it's a grade 1. Okay, cool. Even if it's a grade 1, would you be out there shooting jumpers? Caitlin Clark is at the practice arena shooting 3-pointers. This might just be a message that Stephanie is like, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all ain't gonna fix this. Y'all gonna keep letting my player get hound? Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit you where it hurt. I'm gonna hit y'all in your pocket.
There are now serious discussions about whether Clark should just skip the entire season, wrap her knees, sip a fine European espresso, and travel to France to score 40 points a night while earning 3 times as much money and gaining a great deal more respect, because international basketball players are respected as assets rather than targets of abuse. They don't get thrashed every quarter while the league commissioner takes pictures with a commemorative t-shirt. Kathy Angelbert needs to be held responsible not only for making better choices, but also for keeping her job after repeatedly letting this chaos play out. Just protect the talent sufficiently that fans don't start seeing the product as a joke with injury news as punchlines, rather than trying to grow the league enormously. The league should prioritize protecting players and upholding its integrity rather than watching helplessly while celebrities are treated like punching bags. She doesn't need to create the wheel. All she needs to do is call for help when players are dropped into stadiums.
And as the league's star player, she should not be bullied around or ragdolled, just pushed around like she is. There is an undeniable disparity in the officiating. I mean, think about the Kobe whistle in the NBA. No one touched him without an issue. I remember Draymond Green saying if anything happened to Steph, Draymond Green would get up in a player's face. That's not to say that there shouldn't be fairness in the officiating. Yes, Caitlin Clark should be called for fouls, but the fairness is what is being disputed here, in that she is being pushed around and not being calling, and that only hurts the league. It only hurts the eyes on the league because she is the star player. Like in the Atlanta game, it almost seemed like the strategy was to just like hack them and like kind of get up in Caitlin Clark's face by like all the hand checks and things that just were not called. So hopefully this is a wake-up call to the league.
In reality, what's happening is sabotage when your most prominent, influential, and impactful player is being used as a punching bag that isn't promoting growth and is actively harming the league's reputation without star power. Kathy's actions seem to treat Clark's body as if it's disposable, all for some twisted idea of achieving parity. With great cardio but no appeal to the general public, the league runs the risk of becoming just another niche pastime. The officiating calls for outside investigation in addition to internal reviews or league oversight. If you wouldn't allow a surgeon to operate while wearing a blindfold, why are officials supervising high-stakes games as though they're selecting calls at random, like with a magic 8-ball? What measures is the league taking to hold referees accountable? Are there reviews, suspensions, fines? Or is it just a cycle of mediocrity where no one gets fired because everyone is failing together? Clark is not requesting special treatment. Rather, she is only that the rules be enforced equally and that she not be physically disfigured on national television. This is obviously excessive in a league that tends to value appearances and goodwill over fairness and consistency. Although the league is aware of these problems, it chooses to overlook them. The integrity and future of the sport are being threatened by that indifference, which is gradually destroying its legitimacy from the inside out.
Start off by sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional.
Fans view it. Coaches observe it. It is seen by players, particularly those who have any dignity. The only people who are still in the dark are the officials with whistles and authority. It seems that after earning your WNBA referee certification, your primary responsibility is to determine how much physicality players can take before they lose. If Chelsea Gay's face is lowered without a call once more, don't be shocked if the next Indiana Fever game becomes an actual MMA match. It's time to stop acting like these officials are actually officiating. Instead, they seem to be smiling while enabling chaos, compliciting injuries, frustration, and eroding the trust of fans who came for top-tier basketball, not a replay of 1990s hockey. And then there's Carrington. Her standout performance this season has been her amazing ability to deliver shoulder checks with pinpoint accuracy, like a heat-seeking missile aimed at slowing down players like Clark. If her purpose was to serve as a physical deterrent, she succeeded. But if she's meant to represent the league going forward, that's concerning because the WNBA cannot allow enforcers to maul its star players if it hopes to grow and improve its reputation. Instead, it must put safety and fairness above chaos, or else it runs the risk of losing the trust of both players and fans.
So lads, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the old New York-Indiana game, which was one of the weirdest, like, I'm not even going to say it was badly refereed until down the stretch, but it was one of the worst refereed game. It was one of the worst refereed games I've seen. But in a long, long time.
Carrington should be suspended rather than dismissed altogether. Let's use her as an example to demonstrate to the world that violence is not a justifiable tactic and that this is not Fight Club. Convey the clear message that you might want to think about another line of work if you are unable to defend yourself without using violence. The WNBA has never had more attention than it does now, despite the fact that it is less physical than MMA. However, it has somehow managed to mishandle that attention so badly that it bounced into the stands and knocked out a popcorn vendor. Fans want to watch exciting basketball, not their favorite players being battered like piñatas with every possession. This isn't just about Clark. It's about the message it sends to every young girl watching that even when you're the best, you've earned your spot and you've dedicated your life to excellence. The league must act to protect its players and maintain the integrity of the game before more fans leave in disgust.
I'm going to talk about this play. The person who really should get all the blame is Kathy Engelberg. Yes, this is Kathy Engelberg's doing. You know why? Because she has incompetent referees.
Referees, if this violence continues, Caitlin Clark should seriously consider sitting out games not just to send a message, but to protect herself. She should prioritize collecting her paychecks, safeguarding her knees, and avoiding the humiliation of being treated like a crash test dummy every night. Right now, the court feels less like a competitive arena and more like a war zone with referees standing by, as if they're watching a street fight they refuse to stop. Clark isn't a rookie experiencing a welcome to the league rough patch. She's a once-in-a-generation talent being flattened under the rim, while officials turn a blind eye, swallowing their whistles as if it's part of their uniform. She owes nothing, let's be clear, nothing to a league that refuses to protect its stars from outright assault. There's no rite of passage that involves concussions or flagrant fouls being dismissed, as play on the WNBA should be rolling out red carpets and bubble wrap for Clark, not allowing her to become a punching bag for bitter veterans or insecure opponents looking to make a statement. There's a stark difference between earning your place and being used as a punching bag with a ponytail. The league needs to step up before more players get hurt or lose faith in the game's integrity.